Hey guys, so today I'd like to teach you one of my favorite flourishes to perform right now. It's short, simple, and it's satisfying to perform, and it looks nice as well. So without further ado, if you'd like to learn, here's Fiasco. Alright, welcome to the Fiasco tutorial. Thanks for showing your interest in this flourish. So first up, let's start with a slow motion performance of this flourish. So it looks like this. And that's what Fiasco looks like. So if you'd like to learn this flourish, let's jump straight into the verbal instruction. Alright, so this will be the verbal instruction for Fiasco. The only prerequisite for Fiasco is Cut. So if you haven't learned Cut yet, there are lots of free resources online for you to learn this very simple fundamental mechanic of cardistry. So go ahead and Google Cut and learn that from anywhere you deem fit. So once you've learned Cut, we can get started with the Fiasco tutorial. Now, Fiasco starts in a modified Z grip. So instead of going a Z grip like this, we're going to grab the first packet by these two corners with your middle finger and thumb of your non-dealer's grip hand. And you're going to lift up the second packet at this corner as well, but your index finger stays in its normal position at the top edge of the deck, or the front edge rather. So you're going to open like this, and it will be helpful for you to know this motion where you're twirling the card like this. So it's a very simple motion. It's a motion that you will find very frequently in cardistry as well. So basically what's happening is, since I'm a right-hander, I'm going to be gripping the deck by the non-indexed corners. If you're a left-hander, you'll be gripping them from the indexed corners instead. This index finger will reach over to this edge, the opposite edge, and you're going to basically curl your finger underneath this packet, and it's going to stay that way. So this packet is essentially under very light tension. So you can see that this will be kind of like the fulcrum, and load is applied at the two corners here. So with that motion in mind, you're going to open with the modified Z grip, and then you're going to execute the card twirl. Oops, let's not talk about that. You're going to open into a modified Z grip, and you're going to twirl the packet while keeping everything else basically stable. So once again, you're going to open into the modified Z grip and then immediately go into a twirl. So what's going to happen at this point is that during the twirl, or after the twirl, whichever you feel more comfortable with, you're going to now grip the middle packet near the front edge using your middle finger and thumb just at the top corners. So now the packet is much more stable. You should be able to move the top two packets quite freely. This kind of grip will allow you to make the flourish a lot more flowy, because it allows this range of motion. So once again, modified Z grip. And what I like to do is, once I execute the twirl, I kind of let the packets go in front a little bit, and then it rebounds back. So it kind of adds some flair to the motion of the packets. So usually what I like to do is I go a bit to the right here, extend the packets a little bit, and then as I twirl, I'm going to bring the packets forward like this, and then back again. So that's the first motion of a Fiasco. And it's basically a combination of motions, but they are pretty elementary, so you should be able to get them in a couple of minutes of practice if you are, have some experience with cards. So that's basically like the first phase of the Fiasco tutorial. So let's go on to the second phase. Alright, so now will be the second phase of Fiasco. This is where we are at now. So we're here. Now what's going to happen is we're going to allow gravity to do the work for us in this motion. Of course, we'll be controlling the motion as well. So this is what's going to happen. And I'm going to end up with two separate entities. So I'm going to walk you through that. So after the twirl and the back and forth kind of thing to add some flair, I go back once, and then what happens is that, I'll explain it with this packet first. What happens is that this index finger will stay steady underneath this packet. And what's going to happen is that this packet is going to fall from this grip into this grip. And this grip basically entails my middle finger, my pinky and my ring finger being on the back edge of the packet, and my middle finger and index being on the side edge of the packet, with my thumb just kind of floating here. Or you can put it at the top, which is what I like to do, so it makes this packet a lot more stable. It also makes a following motion a little bit easier, which I'll explain to you later. So that's what's going to happen with this packet. And at the same time, this middle packet is going to fall on top of this packet. So some of you might have already gotten it if you tried it out, but I'm going to explain it to you anyway. So this top edge needs to be slightly overlapping the bottom edge or the back edge of this packet to allow this tilting motion to occur. So basically the packets are going to end up in that same grip, except both of those packets are going to be together. Another thing to note is that while you're executing that falling motion, you can also use the index finger of your dealer's grip hand to kind of push off that packet, alright, to facilitate that motion. So now it's kind of hard to, fully explain it because it's kind of a knacky move, but try it a couple of times and I'm sure you'll get it. It's a fairly heuristic move, I suppose, but with a couple of attempts, you should be able to get it. So now you end up with two packets, one in each hand. So now remember when I said it's easy to keep your thumb packet or your thumb on top of this packet? It's going to help in this following motion. So now you're going to do half a Charlie cut in your dealer's grip hand. And then this corner over here is going to contact the middle fingertip of your dealer's grip hand. So you're going to kind of flip this packet on top and allow this corner to contact your fingertip, so it acts as a pivot. And you're going to pivot it onto the bottom packet of the Charlie cut. So once again, we're here. I skipped the back and forth motion just for simplicity's sake. And usually I do this at the same time. I Charlie cut, and at the same time you flip this packet on top. So I kind of keep this packet in tension at all times. And it goes down. So that happens simultaneously. You do half a Charlie cut and you flip the packet out on top at the same time. So now what you basically end up with is half a Charlie cut. So now what you're going to do is, usually I just keep my index finger underneath this packet, and with this corner of my palm as another pivot, I'm going to lift this packet up, keeping this packet over to the side, and I clear it and I let this packet fall down onto my dealer's grip hand. And now what's going to happen is basically this packet on top is going to flip 180. So this edge is going to contact this far edge on the bottom. So this is what happens. Now, one other thing to note is that when you're at this position and you're clearing the packet, I find it easier if you let gravity assist you with this motion as well. And what I mean by that is this index finger underneath the bottom packet can tilt this packet a little bit over to the side. And what this allows you to do is basically create a slope for this packet to kind of fall down on. So it's easier. So this is kind of a poop deck. I'm using it for explanation purposes because, it's easier when the packets are clumpy. They stay together very well. So that's essentially the closer for Fiasco. And I kind of tilt it over a bit to the side to let gravity assist with that final closing motion. So yeah, that's Fiasco. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hey guys, Tan here. So basically I'd just like to say a few words before we finally conclude this tutorial. First of all, thanks for showing your interest in this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed, practicing and performing this flourish as much as I did. I know that the flourish itself isn't a very complex or very difficult flourish, but I think the mechanics and the motions of this flourish are something that should appeal to cardists, and laymen of all skill levels. So hopefully you'll be able to use these mechanics in a flourish of your own, perhaps create a variation of this flourish. So yeah, do your thing. But the next thing I'd just like to talk about is, I know it's a bit weird for me to talk about myself in a cardistry tutorial, but it's kind of relevant. So first of all, I'd just like to say that, you know, this is kind of a new thing for me, creating tutorials. It's not, it's basically just something I do for kicks. But of course, as well, it's something to contribute to the cardistry community. I've been in the game for around 5 or so years now, and at this moment in time, I probably have around a library of 50 or so flourishes that I created. Of course, some are better than others. I know this is like basically the result of having a lot of free time and basically just having a lot of fun with just 52 pieces of paper. Hopefully you'll be able to find the same joy in it as I do. But basically, the last tutorial that I posted was, you know, Delta. It was a two-handed cut. Something I still perform on basically a daily basis. I enjoy that flourish a lot. But this whole tutorial thing is basically, you know, a hobby of mine. So last week, just started university. So I'm not sure how often I'll be able to do these, you know, tutorials in the future. This is basically just like a one-man operation. If you'd like to see my filming setup, I'd be happy to show you. It is a stack of books on top of a low cabinet. So yeah, as you can see, I don't have the production quality of like a professional filmmaker. This is all just, you know, out of the goodness of my heart and out of how much fun I'm having doing this. So I know production quality is not through the roof or anything like that, but what I do want to focus on is instruction quality. You being able to learn these flourishes that I create. By now, with 50 over flourishes, it'll be kind of a waste for me to not share it with anyone. I don't want to die with all these flourishes just stuck inside my head when I go to the grave, you know? So I want to share these flourishes with you. But you know, just started university, life is getting busier. Not sure when I'll be able to post this next tutorial. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial as much as, you know, I enjoyed creating it. And have fun. Keep shuffling cards. Oh yeah, one more thing. So these tutorials obviously take quite a bit of time to prepare and to produce. But you know, even with a busy schedule, I am fairly active on Instagram, I suppose. Maybe like a submission about every week or so. So if you'd like to check out my ideas for cardistry, you can check out my Instagram. That will probably appear on my face right now or something, post-editing. It's done with Movie Maker. I don't have like Final Cut Pro or Sony Vegas or whatever. I'm just a guy who's making tutorials because it's fun. So yeah, hopefully you guys like take a glance at my stuff and hopefully you guys enjoy that stuff. If you like, you can like request tutorials of a move that you particularly like. Yeah. Shameless self-plug.